There's a moment when you feel reality tilt, just a little. You're sitting on the couch with a friend, scrolling through old movie clips. A line comes up from a famous scene, and you can already hear it in your head before the character even opens their mouth. You smile, you say it out loud with them, totally sure you're right. And then, they don't say it. The line is different. The wording is off. Or the moment you swear happened just isn't there. Your body reacts before your brain does. There's this odd drop in your stomach, like missing a step on the stairs. Your chest tightens for a second. Your mind starts racing. Wait, no, that's wrong. I remember it. I know I do, don't I? You check clips. You Google images. You zoom in on logos you could have bet your life used to look different. And suddenly it's not just about a movie quote or a cereal box. There's a subtle, unnerving thought hiding underneath. If my memory of something so clear is actually wrong, what else in my life isn't how I remember it? It happens quietly, but it's powerful. You're not just confused about a detail out there in the world. You're momentarily unsure about yourself. And that strange, shaky feeling, that's the doorway into what people call the Mandela Effect, and also into something much deeper about how your mind, your past, and your identity actually work. Someone goes through this not once, but over and over again in small ways. In a romantic relationship, they're in the middle of an argument and say, "You told me last week you'd call me when you got home. I remember exactly. You were in the kitchen, you had your keys in your hand." They can see the scene. They're so sure. Their partner shakes their head. "No, I said I'd try to call. You even nodded." On the outside, this person folds their arms, feels their jaw clench. Inside, there's this mix of anger and panic. Am I going crazy, or are they changing the story? It feels like reality is splitting into two versions, and both people are living in a different one. At work, someone leaves a meeting absolutely convinced their manager said, "Great job, we'll go with your idea." They remember the tone, the nod, the little rush of pride. Later, the manager sends an email picking a different direction. The person's heart sinks. Did I just hear what I wanted to hear? Did I decide they agreed with me? It's embarrassing. It feels like they can't trust their own mind. In a family, a sibling gathering surfaces an old story. One brother says, laughing, "Remember when Dad missed my school play?" Another jumps in, "No, he was there. I remember him in the second row." Their mom insists, "He had to work that night. We all felt terrible." Three people, three versions, all very real to each of them. And then there is the version that happens when you're alone. You sit at your window at night, thinking about your childhood. Part of you holds on to a soft, nostalgic version where things were fine, normal, not that bad. Another part has flashes of loneliness, comments that hurt, things that were brushed off. You find yourself bouncing between, "It wasn't that bad, I'm overreacting," and "No, something was off." The Mandela Effect isn't just a fun internet phenomenon about movie lines. It mirrors something deeply human. Our memories and our stories about our lives are not fixed. They shift. They bend. They're influenced by what we needed to believe at the time, by what others around us remember, and by how safe or unsafe it feels to see the full truth. This can be terrifying, but it can also be one of the most powerful tools for self-awareness and inner work you'll ever have. To understand why this happens, it helps to go back a little. Imagine a girl growing up in a home where the adults are overwhelmed and distracted. When she gets upset, she's told, "You're too sensitive. That didn't happen like that. You always make a big deal out of nothing." Over time, she learns that her version of events is wrong, so she starts to doubt her own reactions. She remembers the yelling less clearly. She remembers the after, when everyone was calm and joking. Eventually, her memories rearrange. The scary moments blur, the good moments sharpen. She starts to say things like, "My childhood was fine. I was just dramatic." Her mind quietly edits the film so she can love her family and feel safe. A boy grows up where mistakes are punished harshly. If he drops something or forgets something, he hears, "You always mess things up. You never listen." He learns that being wrong or being imperfect is dangerous. So later, when there's a conflict, his memory bends in the opposite direction. In arguments, he can only recall the times other people slipped. His mind highlights their mistakes and erases his. Not because he's evil or selfish, but because his brain is trying to protect him from that burning shame he felt as a kid. From a cultural side, we're also taught that confidence means being sure. You're supposed to know what happened, know your truth, stand by your story. Admitting, "I might be remembering this wrong," feels like weakness. All of this leads to a kind of inner rule. If I don't sound certain, I won't be believed. If I'm not believed, I'm not safe. Underneath the internet version of the Mandela Effect, groups of people misremembering things like logos or famous lines, is this basic psychological truth. Memory is not a recording, it's a reconstruction. In psychology, you'll hear about constructive memory. It's the idea that every time you recall something, your mind is rebuilding it, not just replaying it. It pulls bits and pieces from the original event, mixes them with your current beliefs, emotions, and what other people have said, and then gives you a version that feels coherent. It feels real, even if some details are off. There's also a concept called confabulation, which sounds scary but is actually pretty normal at lighter levels. It means your brain fills in gaps with best guesses without telling you it's guessing. It's not trying to deceive you, it's trying to give you a complete story. So when a group of people swear that a logo had an extra letter or a character died in a different way, they're experiencing a collective version of what you do individually all the time. The Mandela Effect is like a big public mirror that shows you how much your mind values a stable story over objective accuracy. And that has a huge impact on your everyday life. Let's look at how this plays out right now, in the present, in ways you can actually feel. In the workplace, imagine a conflict with a coworker. There was a tense meeting. You remember them cutting you off, dismissing your idea with an eye roll. For days, your body holds on to that. Your shoulders stay tight, you rehearse comebacks in the shower. You tell a friend, "They were so rude to me." Then you rewatch the meeting recording, or you talk to someone else who was there. Their version is softer. They saw a rushed person, not a cruel one. Maybe the coworker interrupted once, but not as dramatically as it lives in your mind. There's a moment where you think, why does this bother me so much if it was that small? The intensity of your reaction doesn't match the objective event. That's often a sign that your mind stitched this moment together with older, unprocessed memories of being ignored or belittled. It isn't just about this coworker, this day. It's about a pattern your nervous system thinks it recognizes. In romantic relationships, things get even more charged. You and your partner sit down to talk about a recurring issue, maybe feeling unsupported or not listened to. You say, "Every time I share something vulnerable, you shut down." Your partner looks hurt and replies, "That's not fair. I can think of lots of times I've been there for you." Both of you are pulling from memory. You might remember every instance of being brushed off because those moments felt like small rejections of your entire self. Your body logged them as danger. Meanwhile, your partner's mind might highlight all the times they tried and forget the times they failed, because remembering those failures feels like facing the possibility that they hurt someone they love. It's not that either of you are lying. You're both living inside different edited versions of the same story. In family dynamics, this can show up when you start doing inner work and begin to question the official family narrative. Maybe you were always told, "We never fight. We're such a close family." That was the line. So when your body remembers tension, silent treatments, or walking on eggshells, there's a clash. Part of you says, "It was fine. Other people had it worse." Another part is quietly asking, "If it was so fine, why do I feel so anxious around them?" That inner conflict between the story and the felt reality is like an internal Mandela effect. The public version and the inner version don't match, and you're left wondering which one is true or if you're allowed to trust yourself at all. With friends, it might show up in mismatched memories of how often you reach out, how plans get canceled, or what was said in a sensitive conversation. One person feels abandoned. The other feels like they did their best. Both are filtered through expectation, insecurity, and past wounds. And then there's your own inner dialogue. You might remember yourself as always the problem, always too emotional, always being rejected. Or you might remember yourself as always the one who gets hurt, never the one who hurt someone else. In both cases, your memory compresses thousands of complex moments into a simple identity: the broken one, the victim, the strong one, the helper. The cost of staying stuck in these edited stories is high. You feel exhausted from replaying past events, trying to prove to yourself what really happened. You get stuck in the same arguments because each person is defending their own memory as if their life depends on it. You feel disconnected from yourself because deep down, something doesn't add up. Part of you senses, there's more to this than I'm allowing myself to see, but facing that feels scary. You might catch yourself asking, why do I keep reacting like this? Or, why does this small thing hit me so hard? Those questions are your system telling you, it's not actually about the small thing, it's about all the stories behind it. So where's the value in all of this? Is the Mandela Effect, inside and outside, just a source of confusion? What if it's actually a teacher? When you misremember a neutral detail, like a logo or a movie line, and then learn it was different, you get a tiny glimpse of how confidently wrong you can be. That's humbling, but it's also a chance to practice curiosity instead of shame. You can shift from "wow, my brain is broken" to "wow, my brain is doing something interesting. What does this tell me about how I'm wired?" In emotional life, the distortions you carry aren't random. They point to something important. If you always remember disagreements as more hostile than they objectively were, that might be your nervous system staying ready for attack because it learned long ago that conflict is dangerous. If your memories of certain people are unrealistically perfect, that might be a sign you're afraid to see their flaws because it would mean facing grief, disappointment, or anger you don't feel ready to handle. If you have big gaps in your memory around certain times, that might not be a failure. It might be a sign your mind protected you when things were too overwhelming. Instead of trying to fix or get rid of these memory quirks, you can treat them as signals. A distorted memory is like your psyche saying, "Something about this topic is loaded for me. There's more under the surface." Anger might be telling you your boundaries were crossed. Jealousy might be telling you what you deeply desire but haven't admitted. Numbness might be signaling overload and shutdown, not apathy. The idea isn't to hunt down every inaccuracy and force yourself to see the harshest possible version of reality. It's to bring gentle awareness to where your mind has been working overtime to protect you and to slowly integrate those parts instead of fighting them. Everyone has their own version of this. No one remembers perfectly. No one has a perfectly objective life story. You're not uniquely broken because your memory is flexible. You're human. The work is not about becoming perfectly accurate. It's about becoming more honest with yourself about the stories you're living inside. Let's talk about some practical ways to work with this in your daily life. Practice 1. Notice your story versus the scene. This practice helps you catch in real time when your mind is adding layers to reality. When something happens that triggers you, a look, a tone, a comment, imagine the moment as a short clip from a movie. Step 1. Describe what a camera would see and hear. No motives, no guesses, just the raw footage. She looked at her phone while I was talking. She didn't respond for 3 seconds. Step 2. Write or say the story your mind adds. She doesn't care. I'm boring. I'm always the last priority. Doing this regularly doesn't make your feelings disappear, but it separates what's happening now from what your history is projecting onto it. It's difficult at first because your story feels fused to the event, but with practice, you'll start to feel a bit more space to choose how you respond. Practice 2. Write what you didn't say. When you realize a memory feels off or you keep replaying an old scene, try this journaling exercise. Pick one moment you're stuck on. It might be an argument, a breakup, a conversation with a parent. On paper, write out the scene as you remember it, but then add a second layer. Write what you wish you had said or done. For example, you told me I was overreacting. I shut down. What I wanted to say was, when you call me dramatic, I feel small and invisible. This helps you see where your memory might be shaped less by what actually happened and more by what never got expressed. The unsaid words hang over the scene, coloring it with resentment or sadness. Once you put them on the page, your system doesn't have to twist the memory as much to make it feel like your pain existed. You've named it. Practice 3. One small boundary, no speech. One reason we rewrite reality later is because we abandon ourselves in the moment. We say yes when we mean no, and then later remember the situation as more unfair or dramatic because that matches how we felt inside. To shift this, pick one tiny boundary to practice each week, something low stakes but real. It might be telling a friend, "I can't talk tonight, I'm tired," instead of pushing through, or telling a coworker, "I can't take on that extra task." The key, keep the explanation simple. No long speeches, no over-justifying. Just a clear, respectful no or not today. The first few times, your body might react strongly, racing heart, guilt, thoughts like, "They'll be upset." But afterward, notice how much less you need to rewrite the story in your head. You said what you meant. You don't have to create a dramatic version of their reaction to justify your feelings. You stood in reality. Practice 4. Quiet check-ins with yourself. Set aside a few minutes a couple of times a week to sit somewhere with no screens, no distractions, just you and your breathing. Ask yourself, how does my body feel when I think about a specific situation or person? Then notice, is there tightness, numbness, a sinking feeling? You're not trying to pull up a perfect memory. You're just feeling what's happening now when you touch that topic. Often, your body will tell you the truth before your story catches up. You might say, "Things are fine with my family," but your chest tightens and your jaw locks every time you imagine a holiday dinner. That doesn't mean your story is wrong, but it means there's more there. Your nervous system hasn't forgotten, even if your narrative has been smoothed over. Practice 5. One level deeper than "I'm fine." The next time someone you trust asks, "How are you?" experiment with going one level deeper than your usual answer. If you'd normally say, "I'm good, just busy," you might try, "I'm okay, but I've been replaying this conversation with my boss in my head, and it's exhausting." You don't have to dump everything, just one layer deeper. This does a few things. It gives other people a more accurate picture of your inner world, which means you're less likely to feel unseen and then rewrite later as "they never cared." It also shows you that you can survive being a little more honest, that you don't have to maintain a polished story at all times. Practice 6. Weekly, no to the old story. Once a week, pick one situation where you usually go along with your old script, being the helper, saying yes, staying quiet, and experiment with a small deviation. Maybe every Sunday you call a relative who always rewrites history, and you usually just nod along. This week, maybe you don't argue, but you internally say, "That wasn't my experience," and you let yourself feel that, even if you don't say it out loud yet. Or you cut the call shorter and then journal your version. You're not blowing up your life. You're gently disappointing the part of you that thinks it has to keep the old story alive to be loved. Over time, this loosens the grip of those narratives. Practice 7. Talk to the younger witness. The Mandela Effect in your personal life often shows up most around childhood memories, especially the ones where your adult mind tries to protect your parents or protect your younger self from pain. Try this. Close your eyes and picture a younger version of you at a specific age, maybe 5, 10, or 15. Imagine you're sitting next to them after a difficult day they just had. Ask that younger you, if you didn't have to protect anyone's feelings, how would you describe what happened today? Then listen. You might hear things like, "I felt scared when they yelled," or "I felt invisible when no one noticed I was crying." These are not about factual details. They're about emotional truth. When you let that younger witness speak, you don't have to keep rewriting the past just to keep everyone looking good in your mind. You can hold both. Maybe your parents did their best and you were hurt. Maybe you made mistakes and you were trying your hardest. The more you allow those mixed truths, the less violently your brain has to distort things to keep you safe. Over time, doing this kind of work changes the feel of your life. You start to experience more ease and clarity, not because everything is suddenly simple, but because you're no longer fighting reality or clinging to your version like a shield. When conflicts come up, you're more able to pause and think, okay, this is my memory, my story. It feels real, but I can be curious about it. That curiosity softens your edges. You don't have to bulldoze other people with your truth, and you don't have to erase yourself in favor of theirs. You get more freedom to choose your response instead of automatically reacting from old scripts. When someone doesn't text back right away, instead of spiraling into, everyone abandons me, you might notice, oh, that's my old story trying to take over, and choose a kinder interpretation, or at least hold the uncertainty without tearing yourself apart. Relationships shift. Some will deepen because there's now room for nuance. You can say things like, we remember this differently, but I still care about how it felt for you. That's intimacy, not sharing an identical memory, but sharing a willingness to be with each other's experience. Other relationships might fade, especially ones that require you to constantly deny your own reality to keep the peace. As painful as that can be, it also makes space for new connections where truth is safer. Inside yourself, there's less fear of being found out. You're not trying to maintain a flawless story of who you are. You know you're complicated. You know your memory's imperfect, and that's okay. You can admit, I was wrong, or I don't remember exactly, without feeling like your whole identity is collapsing. This is ongoing work. There's no final level where you unlock perfect objectivity. You'll still misremember things. You'll still have arguments about what really happened. But each time, you'll have more tools, more compassion, and more room to breathe. You're not aiming to live in a cold, factual world where feelings don't matter. You're learning to live in a richer world where facts and feelings can sit side by side, and where the little glitches in your perception are invitations to know yourself more deeply. So come back with me to that moment on the couch when the movie line didn't match your memory. Before, that might have felt like a scary sign that you can't trust your mind. Today, maybe it can be a gentle reminder that your brain is creative, not defective. It's constantly stitching meaning and pattern into your experiences. That mismatch between what you remember and what's out there isn't proof that you're broken. It's proof that you're human. You can use those moments as small wake-up calls. Instead of spiraling, you can smile a little and think, interesting. My mind filled in a gap there. Where else might I be doing that? And what is that filling in trying to protect me from? You don't have to hunt down every error or interrogate every memory. You can simply bring a little more awareness into your daily life, into how you tell stories about your past, your relationships, and yourself. You won't become perfectly certain, but you can become more honest, more flexible, and more kind with yourself. The Mandela Effect, both out in the world and inside your own head, doesn't have to be a glitch you're afraid of. It can be a doorway into deeper self-knowledge, into softer relationships, and into a life where you're less on autopilot and more awake to what's really happening right now. Thank you for being here with me and sticking through this conversation. If you'd like more videos exploring the mind, memory, and personal growth, feel free to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And I'd really love to hear from you. Is there a memory or story about your past that you've started to see differently as you've grown? Which part of this felt most familiar in your own life? Share it in the comments if you feel comfortable. Take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.